Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many saga-wide implications as well as revelations in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, what's really great about this movie is that we do know that J.J. Abrams is really pouring his heart and soul into Episode 9 during post-production in order to really make this movie stand out away from both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, to really make it feel like it's not just the end of the sequel trilogy, but it's the end of the entire Skywalker saga. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren traveling to an unknown world, based in the Outer Rim, where it's described that they enter an abandoned First Order base that once belonged to Supreme Leader Snoke. It's described that Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren blow open the doors to Snoke's vault, where it's said that Snoke kept many secrets hidden inside. It's described that Kylo Ren comes across many artifacts of the Sith hidden in Snoke's vault, where one of which is stored inside of a wooden box, where Kylo is said to open it for it to be revealed as Palpatine's lightsaber. It's unclear if it is an unknown saber that will be introduced for the very first time to fans, or if it's one recovered from the prequel trilogy era. However, it's described to have a gold trim to it with a black grip and a white ring attached to the end. The saber is described to be inactive and no longer working and is kept as a relic, where Kylo decides to take it and tosses it to one of the Knights of Ren, where they store it in a pack. Another artifact that Kylo comes across is described to be a statue of the Duarte that is colored gold, which also once belonged to Emperor Palpatine that Snoke kept away. However, it's described that this one appears to be larger. Lastly, one of the Knights of Ren comes across a compass of some kind that belonged to Palpatine as well, and is said to hold a connection to the Beyond in the film. It's described that Snoke was also looking for the Beyond well after Palpatine's death, as Palpatine discovering the Beyond was left unknown to Supreme Leader Snoke. So, I want to go over a couple of parts about all of this, because this is obviously a big connection between both Supreme Leader Snoke and Emperor Palpatine. As we all know, J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, everybody else involved over at Lucasfilm, Colin Trevorrow, who was originally supposed to be on for Episode 9, even had the idea of really doing something special for some of the legacy characters, and that seems like it carried on over into, of course, the finalized script that actually has Chris Terrio on board. So the thing about this is that it really makes one wonder exactly how did Snoke ever really come across Palpatine's lightsaber. Now, like I say, we're not quite sure exactly which lightsaber this really is. It could be the one that we saw in Revenge of the Sith that actually falls over at a Palpatine's office when he's fighting Mace Windu, or it could very well be the same exact one that was actually used during his fight against Yoda, for all we know. Now, this could also be a brand new lightsaber by Palpatine that he kept hidden away that eventually got into the hands of Supreme Leader Snoke. That would make a little bit more sense because it could create something new and something fresh for the audience to actually, kind of tap into and research once, the visual dictionary drops and releases alongside with the Episode 9 release. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is the statue of the Duarte. Now, you guys may have actually seen them in Revenge of the Sith. They belonged to Emperor Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine at the time. Palpatine had, I believe it was a total of 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken, and Snoke actually has at least one of them. However, this one is described to be much larger in scale. So it really makes one wonder, is this the authentic one, or is this basically a different one that Palpatine got his hands on that was eventually handed down to Supreme Leader Snoke? And finally, the one that really puzzles me big time has all to do with this compass that Snoke once discovered that Kylo Ren now actually finds is actually said to have once belonged to Emperor Palpatine that has a deep connection to the Beyond, and that Snoke himself was also searching for the Beyond. Now, again, guys, like I said, we do know that the Beyond is going to play a major role in this movie. It's going to be a big backdrop for The Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be a movie, in a sense, that actually has a lot of, changing plot devices from start to finish, and that the Beyond will actually play a role in the evolving MacGuffin. So, there is a new villain in the movie. He's called the Dark Acolyte so far as we know, and most likely being portrayed by Matt Smith. and that character actually has a link with Emperor Palpatine. And the fact that that character is connected to the Beyond and how Palpatine had a compass that led him to the Beyond is quite mysterious to Snoke, because Snoke never really found out if Snoke, or should I say if Palpatine, ever successfully was able to find the Beyond. Now, you guys may recall a couple of days ago we went over how Palpatine, actually was able to reveal a road to eternal life through the holocron that Rey discovers. She learns this about Palpatine. And we also know that the Beyond holds the origins of the dark side of the Force as well as the entire galaxy. And you can only imagine what's possible over in the Beyond. So that leads me to believe that Snoke actually knew what Palpatine was doing, or maybe even freakier, maybe, perhaps, Snoke was always Palpatine all along. Again, we do know that the spirit of Sidious is going to be used in a certain way in Episode 9 at a certain point in time in the movie, so it's not out of question to say that maybe Snoke was Palpatine all of this time. It's a big possibility. It could also explain as to why Snoke has so many Palpatine relics. That could also make a lot more sense. But guys, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.